guys, I'm Calluna, and welcome to the next installment of my Game of Thrones episode breakdown. Some questions are answered, but even more are still left unanswered. Let's dive into episode 8, No One. Bravos. We see Lady Crane has taken Arya's advice for Cersei, giving a much more angry and vengeful portrayal of her, which is much closer to the real thing. While backstage, she hears a noise and finds a very bloody Arya, assumably this is right after the events of the last episode. Lady Crane takes Arya back to her home and helps bandage her wounds. An amazing actress and nurse! Her talents never cease to amaze! The girls bond over their mutual appreciation of putting holes in people, and she even offers to have Arya come with the band of actors. Of course, Arya says she can't because she'll be putting Lady Crane in danger since the waif is after her. But it's not like she isn't right now? Okay. Riverlands. We see a couple of the men who attacked Brother Ray's group acting like a bunch of idiots, and thank God the Hound is here to murder them all! Yay! Marine. Tyrion and Varys are walking through Marine, which is bustling and full of life again. Naturally, Tyrion boasts that his plan worked, while Varys is still not cool with the whole working with religious fanatics thing. And, oh man, Varys is leaving! Damn it. Well, he says he needs to get allies in Westeros, as well as solve Dany's lack of ships problem. Wonder if he'll meet up with the Greyjoys at all. It's kind of sweet to see Tyrion and Varys' friendship here. It makes me all the more nervous that Varys isn't going to live much longer. King's Landing. Lancel leads a group of the Faith Militant to the Red Keep, where they tell Cersei the High Sparrow demands to see Cersei at the Sept of Baelor. Cersei refuses since it isn't time for her trial yet. This is mostly just a display of power on the High Sparrow's part, showing that he can now command Cersei where she once tried to command him. When they try to take her forcibly, the Mountain destroys one guy, totally intimidating the rest of the group. Love the side-eye Qyburn gives them. Reminds me of Sokka from Avatar The Last Airbender's Water Tribe. River Run. Brienne and Podrick arrive at River Run, where Brienne demands to meet up with Jaime. We get two reunions here. One with Bronn and Podrick, bringing some much-needed levity that's been desperately needed. Sorry guys, any of those awkward joke scenes with Tyrion really weren't great in my opinion. Brienne tells Jaime she wants to talk to the Blackfish, striking up a deal in order to get the Blackfish's army north. It's clear these two still respect one another, but find themselves on opposite teams. Brienne even tries to have Jaime take back the sword, but thank God he doesn't, because they're gonna need that sword to fight the White Walkers. My guess is she didn't know about that, or she might not have offered it to him. Brienne's plan is a good one. Have the Tully army leave River Run to go fight up north. They lose the castle to the Lannisters in the frays, but they can get out unscathed and go up to fight with Sansa and Jon. Unfortunately, the Blackfish's pride is too strong to just abandon the castle. He doesn't want to run away like he had to at the Red Wedding. This scene is mentioning Catelyn quite a bit. Jaime mentioning Brienne fulfilling her oath, Blackfish comparing Sansa's writing to Catelyn, etc. So some watchers suspect that the Lady Stoneheart character might end up making an appearance by the end of the season. George R. R. Martin has already said that the character has been cut from the show, but hey, it's not like we haven't been lied to before. I honestly don't expect that character to appear, but one can dream. King's Landing. Again. Cersei strolls into the Red Keep, but very quickly gets put in her place by Kevan Lannister, who tells her to stand on the side rather than up at the throne. Tommen then announces that trial by combat will no longer be permitted, which totally ruins Cersei's chances at winning her trial. Qyburn tells Cersei that his little birds found some interesting information, something about a rumor Cersei mentioned to Qyburn. Apparently, whatever it is, he's found it, and much more. My best guess right now is that Qyburn has found other stashes of wildfire. We know in Season 2 that Cersei had been ordering the pyromancers to start making wildfire again, so she would know about how it's made and the rumors about Aerys keeping it stocked throughout the city. We've also seen visions of the wildfire exploding, and Cersei has said on more than one occasion that she would burn the city to the ground. So she might be taking I choose violence a step too far. Marine. Again. Tyrion continues to try and loosen up Grey Worm and Missandei, this time with booze. How come this season is making Tyrion just come across as that enabling friend who just wants you to do really dumb things? Yeah, a lot of this scene was pretty weak and felt really awkward. Usually Varys is there to help provide sass, but unfortunately he left. And of course, Tyrion's boasting comes to be totally wrong, since the Master's fleet shows up to storm the city. Well, shit. At least Tyrion bought Dany some much-needed time to get back? River Run. Again. Jaime tries to convince Edmure to surrender River Run to his army, trying a variety of tactics. apologizing for how the phrase captured him, complimenting Catelyn by comparing her to Cersei, though this has the opposite effect, and eventually just threatening to kill his son via catapult. Nice lighting job in this part, with Jaime's face half in shadow. It's enough to convince Edmure to enter Riverrun and order his men to surrender the castle. The Blackfish is smart enough to know what Jaime had planned, and helps Brienne and Podrick escape. But instead of going with them, he stays to fight and die off-screen. Lame. In the books, Edmure holds out until the last possible moment in order to allow the Blackfish to escape again. At least there, Edmure is demonstrating some semblance of intelligence and duty to his family. He is a Tully, after all. Family, duty, honor, and all that. I was rather disappointed that we are informed of the Blackfish's death by random Lannister guardman. While some believe he may have escaped since we didn't see the death, well, I remind you we didn't see Stannis die either, and he's hella dead. And for those complaining that the Tully men just let Edmure possibly be hanged 1 minute only to then listen to his orders upon his arrival, pretty sure that's just showing that they knew the phrase wouldn't actually kill Edmure, since he is their legitimate claim to the castle and their main bargaining chip. Overall, kinda disappointed with having a character as cool as the Blackfish be lamely killed off screen because they just didn't want the character around anymore. The only good part about this was the interaction between Brienne and Jaime. The wave goodbye they give one another as Brienne escapes downriver was really touching. A bit dark and difficult to see, but touching nonetheless. My guess is these two haven't seen the last of each other just yet, but maybe not. Meereen. Finale. The Slave Master's fleet barrages the city with fireballs and cannon fire. Tyrion apologizes and admits he was wrong about the Masters, which Missandei and Grey Worm are rightfully mad about. Okay, what has Tyrion done right this season? Let out the dragons, and that's about it. We are going to see him be useful soon, right? Grey Worm takes charge, but they hear a noise on the roof. Oh, and Missandei actually goes to defend Tyrion. That's sweet of her. The Unsullied get ready to fight the mysterious— oh, come on, who else was it gonna be besides Dany? Who else can fly, guys? Man, is Dany not going to be happy about what's been going on since she left? So I'm guessing Dany will have the dragons just rain fire and blood on the ships, unless she plans to try and take the ships for herself, but if she does, then the Greyjoy plots will officially be pointless, so I'm thinking Dragonfire. Riverlands. Again. The Hound finds the rest of the men who slaughtered his friends, but they're a bit, tied up at the moment. Turns out that the Brotherhood aren't entirely dicks, just these guys, for plot convenience. And hey, both Beric and Thoros have returned! Cool! After arguing pointlessly about who gets to kill who, the men are finally killed. Beric tells the Hound that they are heading north to fight in the battle for the Dawn, and offer to have him join them. The scene ends before the Hound has made a decision, but Beric echoes the words Rey told him. It's not too late for you. So, in all likelihood, the Hound is probably going to head north. Possible reunion with Sansa? That'd be cool for all the Sandor Sansa shippers out there. Lots of people also speculate that Lady Stoneheart is still coming, since there are lots of hints to her storyline sprinkled throughout the episode. The character of Lemoncloak being near the river, mentioning Beric's numerous revives, etc. But again, I'm pretty positive she's not coming back. With only 1, possibly 1.5 seasons left, I doubt they'd introduce that character so late into the game. Bravos. Again. Arya wakes up to find that the wave has killed Lady Crane. Well, gee, you did say she'd be in danger. Were you seriously not expecting her to show up soon? And what proceeds is an incredibly ridiculous chase scene, which Arya totally shouldn't have been able to do with a few stab wounds to her stomach only the day before. And was anyone else getting T-1000 vibes from the way the waif moved? So Arya ends up leading the waif into a trap, getting her to a confined space, and cutting out the only source of light. Arya needed to get the waif when she was most vulnerable, and where Arya would have some kind of advantage. In the dark. So this is some pretty shoddy writing. There's a lot of assumptions being made by Arya that totally could have gone wrong, assuming that she did plan to make it look like she had been caught off guard in the last episode. 1. How did she know that the waif would be the one to come after her? Maybe Jaqen himself would have done it out of respect. 2. How did she know that the waif wouldn't just kill her instantly? She gets quite a number of stabs in her gut before she runs. 3. What would have happened if the waif hadn't closed the door? She could have had a source of light then. Well, there goes your plan. And in general, there's a lot of suspension of disbelief with how Arya outruns the waif and doesn't die. It's action movie levels of that is not physically possible on several occasions. Ugh, lazy writing at its worst. Jaqen finds the waif's face in the Hall of Faces. Arya does seem to be going for an eye motif with her kills, huh? Jaqen says that Arya is finally no one, which is so bafflingly wrong I almost wonder if he actually meant it or not. Nothing Arya has done here proves that she could be no one. In fact, it's literally the opposite. But, of course, this leads to Arya reclaiming her name and telling Jaqen that she's heading home. Well, nice to see her time in Bravos was such a colossal waste. And Jaqen's face has that stupid, "Aha, it was my plan all along" smirk, which makes even less sense. Well, thank God Arya isn't going to be in Bravos anymore. I am about done with this plot. So yeah, I was a bit disappointed with this episode. This season has been a lot of building up to something only to then have the opposite be pulled out from under you in a disappointing way. Want Dorne to be interesting and complex? Nope! Want the Tyrell army to destroy the Sparrows? Nope! Want the trial by combat we've been building up for 2 seasons? Nope! Sometimes this works well, like Dany's "surprise bitch I don't burn" sequence, but I'm starting to get sick of it. Arya's arc in Bravos this season had moments of decent storytelling, but overall felt very clunky and not very satisfying. The river run scene plays out almost exactly as it did in the books, but with the big exception of the Blackfish escaping and still being alive. His sacrifice is a colossal waste of time for Brienne, but it seems the writers needed a way to have Brienne and Jaime reunite without the use of Lady Stoneheart's arc. Well, add the Tully army to the list of people not helping out in the north. But hey, at least the Brotherhood plans to head up there. And maybe Littlefinger? Hopefully. It feels like the show is scrambling to finish up plots in order to bring characters together in time for the final season. Arya is heading back home, it seems the Hound is heading north as well, and Dany just walks into the pyramid rather unceremoniously. With so much of the show-off book, you can see where the writers flounder a bit with the plots. I will never get over the travesty that is Dorne! Hopefully we can forget about this episode with the next one. Preview. Jon Snow is leading his army against the Boltons, and damn, that army is big! I noticed that they had burning flayed bodies on display, really hoping that Rickon isn't one of them. Sansa tries to tell Jon that Ramsay isn't like anyone Jon's ever fought before, though to be fair, she hasn't exactly fought immortal, dead-raising winter monsters either. Though, if I had to choose, I'd choose fighting the Walker over Ramsay. At least the Walker would be courteous and kill me quickly. Davos is standing over what looks like the remains of a pyre. Perhaps he's finally going to learn about Shireen's fate? Jon tells Melisandre not to revive him if he dies again, but we all know how good Mel is at listening to people. Expect a big battle episode, and Jon's side isn't looking too good from the looks of it. And Sansa's at the battle for some reason. That's stupid, but okay. Overall, not looking too good for our heroes. So, we know that the Brotherhood are on their way north, and possibly the Vale army. Will they make it in time for the battle? It would be pretty cool for the Hound to come and fight for Sansa. Also, Brienne, her actual sworn knight, hopefully she'll make it back soon? Expect mostly this storyline for next week's episode, if not entirely. This is the real battle we've been building to this season, and we finally are getting some decent action scenes, it seems. And Jon, why tell Mel to not revive you if you die? Wouldn't that be the best intimidation tactic? Have the other army see Jon die, then come back again? That might convince them to fight for you. Or at least stop attacking you. Maybe. So, what did you think of this week's episode? Were you disappointed with it like I was? What did you think Arya's plan was, or was it just improvised? Do you think the Hound will join up with the Brotherhood? What was the rumor Qyburn mentioned? Do you think it's Wildfire, or something else? If so, what? How do you think Dany will respond to the attack on Meereen? What in the hell is Varys up to? How will the battle between Jon and Ramsay turn out? Think Rickon is still alive? And how will Davos react to the news about Shireen if he finds out? Post your thoughts and comments below. I'm Calluna, and thanks for joining me in this week's Game of Thrones breakdown. See you in the next one. Bye!
Geek Vision.